What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Get Rich or Go Broke Trying. I'm your host, Eddie Kang. We are in Season 2, Episode 10. Today, I got a very special guest for y'all for our March Madness preview. Out of everybody I know, he's probably the most knowledgeable person when it comes to college basketball, betting-wise. He bets on the small schools more than he bets on the big schools. So I just really felt like bringing him in for this tournament was the perfect thing to do. Just that happy. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. What about yourself?
Hey, man, I'm blessed. Every day you wake up is another day to be better.
Man, I agree with that.
So before we get into the preview of the tournament, I just want to do a quick recap of last episode's picks. We are currently 3-1 with one pick pending. The pending pick is Francesca Jones money line versus Venus Williams. They were supposed to be playing 2 hours ago, but it was going to rain out in the Miami Open, so they have been postponed for tomorrow. But we did cash our Katie Bolter Samnez parlay at plus 136 for a unit and a half. Bolter won in straight sets. She was actually down 4-0 in the first set tiebreaker and actually came back to win. I believe it was 8-6. And then won 6-4 in the second set. And then Samnez beat BHM just like I thought. BHM is 1-8, now 1-9 in 2026. But dealing with a back injury. Hired a tennis coach last month. Just didn't really. She's just out of whack right now. NBA wise, we split our two picks. We had the Hornets -4 versus the Heat at 2 units. The Heat had led the season series 3-0. I'm a firm believer that it's very hard to sweep a team, whether playoffs or regular season. At some point, desperation has to kick in. He had enough players out or just coming back from injury. The Hornets have fresh legs at home. It's really hard to beat them guys at home, especially being the best against the spread team in the league. Took the Cavs -9.5 versus the Bucks at 2 units. Did not get that one. They ended up winning by 7. They had a chance to cover late in the game, but they really just started doing a bunch of dumb shit. A lot of late game fouling, trying to stop the Bucks from scoring. And the Bucks just hit their free throws towards the end of the game. So tip of the cap to the Bucks without Giannis. I'm not gonna say I didn't see it coming because we see janky shit in the NBA all the time, but it was a flyer I thought worth taking. And then last but not least, the sweat of the night, Texas -1.5 versus NC State. 1.5 units at plus 102. Thank you, Tremont Mark, for that game winner because it was smooth sailing for the last 3 minutes and then it was not. NC State caught fire from 3, had only hit 3 3-pointers for the entire game up until the last 2 minutes of the game and decided they wanted to go 3 for 5 in the last 90 seconds of the game. But my boys pulled it out, won us some money. So we are currently 3-1 at plus 3.39 units for the episode. For season 2, we are 25-16 at plus 18.18 units. All time, we are 97-80 with 2 pushes at plus 29.89 units. Really good start to the season, and tennis season hasn't even kicked into full effect yet. All right, so we're gonna jump right into this bracket preview. We're gonna start with regional winners. I'm going to go ahead and let my man take the floor. We're going to start up with the East region. We got Duke -135, UConn plus 600, Michigan State plus 700, and St. John's plus 900. Did you have anybody else in that bracket that you think has a chance of coming out?
I got Kansas coming out of the East region. I just think that they got the best player in America. When you play Duke, you need somebody that can go toe-to-toe with their best player, and I feel like Kansas has that. And I feel like they got the best coach in the situation as well.
I will say Bill Self is built for these moments. They are the 4 seed. They are plus 1,500 to advance. This bracket is a gauntlet. That was the first thing I saw when I seen Duke, when I seen the schedule, that they really gave Duke a really tough bracket to come out of for a top overall seed.
I agree.
My bad, go ahead.
I was gonna say they usually make it easy for the 1 seed. I think they didn't want to make it too ezy for Duke.
I think they don't have a lot of money on Duke not winning the national title this year, and they try to look out for your boy. But I do believe out of all the regions, I do believe this is the one where we have a legit 4 or 5 teams that could come out of this bracket. Like, I do believe any of the 1 through 5 seeds could come out, including St. John's.
Well, yeah, St. John's got a good chance. They got the greatest coach of all time, first of all, and they are relentless on defense. So, defense wins championships, they say. So St. John's does have a chance. I think Michigan State has a chance too.
That's who I'm taking at plus 700. That's who I like to come out the region. Tom Izzo, it's just something about him in March, man. Even when he has a team that you don't think can make some noise, he's right there in the Sweet 16 Elite 8, ready to pounce.
Yeah.
We just have to make sure
I agree.
Jeremiah Fears ain't trying to do no dirty shit.
They got to make threes, man. They got to make threes.
Okay, so we're going to move on to the Midwest region. This is Michigan's bracket. They are the favorites to come out at minus 130. We have Iowa State at plus 245. That is actually my pick to come out the bracket. Virginia at plus 1,100. Tennessee at plus 1,300. Texas Tech at plus 1,700. That's actually pretty decent value. Alabama at plus 2,200. And I have a feeling I know where you're going to go with this one. Kentucky's plus 4,500 to come out the region.
You already know, and that's my pick. I got my Cats coming out of the region. I just think that we're gonna have that same run we had in 2014 when everybody counted us out with when Julius Randle carried us to the national title game when we lost to UConn and it wasn't Kemba Walker, but it was the other dude that was right up under him, Shabazz Napier.
Yeah, that was the one where LeBron was like, "We need to draft him," and then they drafted him and he left.
right. Yeah, but I got my Cats coming out of the Midwest region.
I don't hate it. The only thing that worries me is you guys, like Duke, love to have that Oakland mishap.
Yeah.
Whereas the 3 seed,
I think that's no, my bad. I think that was you can blame that on Calipari. I didn't think he took winning with us too serious on the back end of his career.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of hard to after the first half. You know what I mean? Like, it was an NBA factory.
Mm-hmm.
But Texas Tech at plus 1,700. Looking at it now, I didn't really think of it at first. That's not bad value, especially when you think of the quad 1 wins that they have this year.
Yeah, I agree with you, but I got Akron winning that first round game.
Spicy. Hey, one of the
against an injured Texas Tech team.
Are they the 5 seed?
Who, Texas Tech?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so.
I would say, because I was really looking at the brackets for that, because that really seems to be the trap game every year. Usually 1 5 seed goes down from a 12. And I've been trying to find it this year, and that was the one that kept coming to me. Because I don't think St. John's is going to slip up. I can't remember who the 5 seeds were in the other 2 regions. But I just kept coming back to that one. I'm kind of with you. I wouldn't be surprised if Akron pulls it out, but I think Texas Tech. I don't think they're going to cover the spread, but I think they'll win.
Yeah, those other 5 seeds, I think they'll take care of business. Wisconsin and Vanderbilt.
That's who it was.
High Point may give Wisconsin a run, but I just think Wisconsin's backcourt is too dangerous.
That backcourt's one of the best in the country. Both of them average almost 20 points a game. Hell, we talked about it when they played Michigan State,
And they got the experience as well, just like Vanderbilt. I mean, McNeese is a semi-threat, but they go on too many scoring droughts for me. I think Vanderbilt rolls.
If this was McNeese's team from last year, I'd be with you. I just don't think talent-wise they are where they were last year.
Exactly.
So we got Kentucky plus 4,500, Iowa State plus 245. Okay, so neither one of us has picked the 1 seed yet. That's about to change. We got the men's South region. We got Florida at plus 165, Houston at plus 250, Illinois at plus 310, Vanderbilt at plus 1,100. I don't really see anybody else that can come out of this bracket unless you got somebody on your mind.
I got Illinois. I just think the experience they got, plus they got the tallest team in the whole tournament, and I think that's going to play a big factor, and they can shoot the ball really well.
I was saying college length does matter a lot. I'm a firm believer in you got to beat the champ to beat a champ. So until somebody beats Florida in the tournament, I'm going to rock with them to come out the region at plus 165. I know they got their flaws like we talked about during the SEC tournament. I don't think their game against Vanderbilt was a fluke. Likely to believe that was just a lot of that had to do with Vanderbilt playing in their backcourt. The SEC tournament was in Nashville. It was a neutral site game, but I do
definitely
think
a home game for Vanderbilt.
I think when Florida is playing their A game, they can play with anybody. The question is, can they bring their A game every night? And that's going to be the question of this
Yeah,
region. I think Houston, I'm torn on Houston because I think they're going to come out for blood after what happened last year. I think the fact that they're in the same bracket as the team they lost to in the title game is going to be extra motivation for them. I just don't know if they're going to be built to make it through 5-6 games.
yeah, I agree. I don't see Houston advancing to the Final Four.
I think they'll dominate the first couple games. Because one thing about Houston, just like Iowa State, when they play inferior competition, they beat the dog shit out of them.
Exactly.
But too many times this year, we've seen them go up against, better, teams just as good as them, and they just have those 5 or 6 minute stretches where they cannot get a bucket off. And in this tournament, you have to be able to get a bucket at any given moment.
Exactly. Scoring droughts are a killer for the NCAA tournament. And I believe when they run into Illinois, that's when they'll get exposed.
So no love for Vanderbilt from either one of us. All right, then moving on to the last region. We're in the West region for this one. We have Arizona at -125, Purdue at +360, Gonzaga at +500, Arkansas at +1100, Wisconsin at +1500, and then I'll just go ahead and throw Miami and BYU out there at +5,000 too. Who do you like coming out of this region?
I like Arkansas to beat BYU in the Elite Eight and come out of the region.
Okay, so you're taking BYU all the way. I got BYU losing in the second round.
Yeah,
Actually,
I just
I got
think
BYU losing tomorrow. Actually, spoiler alert.
I just think when you got elite level talent like in one player like BYU does, in college basketball especially, one player can carry a game, carry a team.
We saw it with
And
Kang.
I think AJ will take BYU to at least the Elite Eight.
I think if he's on point, they absolutely have a shot. But if he has at least one bad game or one team just comes up with the perfect defensive plan for him, I don't have the confidence in his teammates to carry him. I think as long as he's on point, they got a shot. I'm going to go ahead and just take the favorite Arizona out of this bracket. Personally, I think Arizona's the best team in the country. I think from the start of the season to the end of the season, they might not have the record to show it, but just their body of work. The Big 12 is still the best conference in college basketball. They're the top dog in the top conference. They just have playmakers all across the floor.
I agree.
A lot of this is, I think Texas is going to, and I'm not saying this as a fan because we're a football school. We are not a basketball school. But
it's all right to be biased sometimes.
It's not even biased for me. It's more the fact of who our coach is. If we didn't have Sean Miller as a coach who we know can get a team to the Elite Eight, like if we still had Shaka Smart, or whoever the hell we had before Rick Barnes, I don't see it happening. But Sean Miller's one of those coaches that when it comes to March, he knows how to get to the later end of the stage. He don't know how to finish it, but he knows how to get you to that point. And I think with Texas, I think last night was good. I think playing the first 4 game was good for them because it allowed them to get the nerves out. So I'd rather them play nervous against NC State and get it out the way than be nervous against BYU.
Yeah, I agree. But just like you say about Sean Miller is how I feel about Tommy Lloyd. And that's why I got Arkansas beating Arizona in the Sweet 16.
Yeah. I mean, Arkansas's not a bad choice, man. Like we said, Calipari, we know he knows how to get it done. It's just going to be a question of can they put it together for 6 or 7 games?
Yeah, I agree. I think they can do it. They got the best point guard in the whole sport, and they got size. They got 3-point shooting. They got a little bit of defense. They struggle with guarding the 3, but you really need interior defense for the NCAA tournament, and I feel like they got that.
All right, man. So you taking your plus 4,500 boys to win it all?
Yeah, I got us playing. My Final Four is Kansas, Illinois, Arkansas, Kentucky, and I got us playing against Kansas to win it all.
You guys are
Blue Blood Final
plus
Four.
25,000. You heard it here first. Kentucky, future national champs. Meanwhile, I'm going to be a pussy and take Arizona at plus 380. Like I said at the start of the show, man, I haven't tuned in this year. I've only seen a couple games here and there, but every time I've seen Arizona play, man, it's been lights out, whether win or loss.
Yeah, They are very, very good. I'm not gonna lie. It took everything in me to go against them in that Sweet 16 game, but I can see it happen. I can see it happening.
Deep down in me, I really think it's gonna be Arizona versus Iowa State for the title. But I can't bring myself to get two teams from the same conference to play for the national title.
Right.
So I'm gonna go with Arizona versus Michigan State.
That's a good pick. Michigan State can very well go all the way.
Man,
They're
I've been
one of the
watching.
5.
We've been watching Izzo do this for damn near 20 years, 20 plus years at this point. Like, if it ain't broke, don't break it. So, before I get on to my show picks, you got any best bets for the first round?
For the first round, my best bets are gonna be first one. I'm gonna go with a total. Well, all my best bets are totals because I like to bet totals, unders especially. So my first play I'm gonna go with is in the Iowa and Clemson game, and I'm gonna go under 130. You could either juice it up to 131 and still get minus 150. I think it's a lot. I think you can bet it all the way down to 128, but once it gets to 128, leave it alone. Because both teams are bottom 50 in pace. I see about 62 possessions, and they both got great offense, but I think the defense is going to cancel out with the conservative play.
One thing we know about Iowa, it don't matter what sport it is, they're gonna play some defense.
Right.
Offense may
Right.
not hit on shit, but them white boys gonna play some defense.
And they're pretty much Drake from last year. And we know Drake from last year that most of their games went under. They got the same point guard. They got the same coach. They got the same core unit. They like to play slow and beat you down. And I believe Clemson is without one of their leading scorers as well.
Yeah, I say he got hurt in the Carolina game, I believe, a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So that's about, that's double-digit points already gone right there.
So we got the under, you said 130, 130 and a half for Clemson and Iowa.
Yeah, it's been bet down to 129 right now. So, it's still safe. Another point, I
anything
would
over
leave it alone.
128.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
And my second best bet will be in the Texas A&M and St. Mary's game. I like the under 147, and that's because St. Mary's is like one of the top 20 slowest paced teams in the country. They don't get sped up. They are top 25 in taking care of the basketball. I see about 63 possessions in this game. They also have a top 20 defense. And A&M wants to run. They'll try to speed them up, but I think the experience with St. Mary's make it a slow, physical ball game.
So this is how I know you know what you're talking about, because you talking about projected possessions and shit. I will say I'm gonna go stereotype here, but I do like Texas A&M to upset in the first round as a 10 seed.
I can see it.
I don't know why. It's just every time I see a big school that's seated lower than a smaller school, I'm not trying to disrespect the smaller school. It's just I watch the bigger schools more, so I'm always gonna have the bias towards them. I don't have any educational insight or purposes as to why I'm picking Texas A&M, other than that they're the bigger school.
Yeah, I don't think the right team is favored. I think St. Mary's should be the 3-point dog, and Texas A&M should be the favorite. I feel like if St. Mary's wins, it'll be a upset, even though they're favored by 3 points.
But before we get to your last one, how do you feel about Miami of Ohio being put in the first 4 games?
I feel like it was disrespect. I got that game on right now, and they're up 37-32, about to go into the break. They got about 2 minutes or so left for the first half. I think it was disrespect, but I think if I was them, I'd love it. I mean, we're playing a home game.
Yeah, I did notice that. I think that was kind of like the consolation prize from the committee. I do think it's wild that a team in the top 25 was slotted as an 11 seed.
Yeah, and even though it's an 11 seed, it's a playing game. I mean, they're playing in the playing turn. So 31-0, that's the respect you get.
I agree. You got any more for us?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the under 150 in the UCLA UCF game. UCF is a fast-paced team. They like to get up and down the floor, but UCLA likes to play it slow. Nick Cronin likes to grind out his game. So I think that game, we're looking at about 64 to 66 possessions. Both teams would need an elite level of efficiency to go over this total, in my opinion. It's way too high.
I said UCLA just lost somebody too, didn't they?
Yeah, they lost they lost their point guard and their
in the game
leading
against
scorer,
Michigan
their
State.
big man went down in the Big Ten tournament, but they're expected to be back. But they'll be playing banged up, which is another reason why I'm taking the under, because I think UCLA is going to play very conservative.
Yeah, and I think that's gonna open the door for UCF to get the upsets. Like you said, they like to
Yeah,
play
yeah.
that fast, up-paced tempo.
I got UCF winning the win scoring game.
Is that all for you? You got anything else for us?
Yeah, I got two underdogs. They not popular underdogs, but I
Is
feel
it
like they
Hawaii?
got a chance. I didn't. No, it ain't Hawaii because I got Arkansas going to the Final Four. But I got Wright State beating Virginia in the first round at plus 1,200. They're also getting 18, which I think the 18 is free. So you can go ahead and lock that up. They're not losing by 20 points. And I got Kenesaw State over Gonzaga at plus 1,700, 17-1 odds.
That's good
I
news
think
for
I
me because
think a
that means
gritty.
we just get to beat up on Kenesaw State in the second round.
Yeah, I think the grittiness of Kenesaw State, and they also got size and athleticism. Gonzaga has size, but all of their players ain't athletic. When people think of Gonzaga, they look at them as a power conference school. They're a mid major.
Yeah, they're just a high
They're just a
profile mid
really good
major. Yeah.
yeah, they're a really good mid major. They recruit like a mid major. They get really, really good second tier guys.
Yeah, and this year's Gonzaga team doesn't really live up to the, I don't want to say the hype, but live up to the reputation that like these past Gonzaga teams have. They've been real spotty, I guess is the best word I can think of right now this year. I mean, they were still what, top 25 team for most of the year, but just not to the usual standard that we're used to seeing Gonzaga. And so I'm with you. I do believe
Yeah,
that Kennesaw State could be a live dog in this one.
yeah. That's all I got.
All right, I'll start mine off. Texas money line, BYU plus 440. Just go ahead
We
and
got
get
a
it out the
battle.
way.
We got a battle right there because I'm gonna have to take BYU and lay the bucket.
If if this was Texas' first game in the tournament, I would 100% be with you. Like I said when we were talking about the future regional futures, I do believe them playing the playing game was a blessing in disguise for them because it allowed them to get the nervousness and the jitters out the way. Really like how aggressive our guards were against NC State yesterday. Chandler Weaver, our sixth man off the bench, had 10 rebounds, had his first career double-double with 11 points, 10 rebounds, 4 of them coming off the offensive glass. BYU's only a 2.5 point favorite. That's a really tight line for a 6 versus 11 seed. Texas ranks in the top 20 offensively in KenPom offensive efficiency. We have the 4th highest free throw rate in college basketball. We get to the line and we crash the offensive glass. That's a very important. Those are 2 very important things to have in the tournament. BYU started the year 16-1 and they finished 9-9. Kind of been really inconsistent the last month or so of the season. So I think this is a good spot for Texas to come in and get the upset. Like you talked about with Illinois, Texas also has size and length. My biggest worry about Texas is our best player, Dylan Swain, has not been shooting the ball well lately. He's getting to the rim like crazy, but just pure shooting wise, he hasn't been getting it. So if he's not clicking on all cylinders, we're going to be relying on, Jordan Pope, Jamal Mark, Chandler Weaver to be hitting their shots. And I think they'll do it on this one. I don't know if they'll do it for 2 or 3 games, but I think after what happened the other night, I think they'll be able to look at the film, get some rest, and I think they're going to be amped up and ready to go for this one.
I can't argue that.
So we are going to put just 1 unit on this. Most of my picks are just going to be 1 unit tonight. All of mine are in chronological order too, so I'm going to be bouncing back between college and NBA. My only NBA pick for this episode, I'm taking the Spurs -10 versus the Suns. This is going to be Thursday, March 19th at 8:10 p.m. 1 unit. Spurs are 19-2 in their last 21. They just beat Sacramento by 28 points and were up by 31 at halftime. Speaking of off subject, did you see the score for the Oklahoma City Thunder Brooklyn Nets game not too long ago?
No, I don't really watch the NBA.
It
What
was
was the score?
60-24 at halftime.
60-24 at halftime.
Them boys was averaging a point a minute.
That the Thunder had 24.
No, the Nets did.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
But back to the pick. Spurs are 51-18, second in the West at home. Wembanyama is on a mission. I don't think they're going to get the 1 seed, but I really feel like they're going to push Oklahoma City. They're not going to let Oklahoma City cruise into the playoffs. I do think they want the number 1 seed. I just don't think they're going to get it. Wemby's averaging 33 points, 11.5 rebounds, and almost 4 blocks a game in his last 5 games. The Suns are 39-30 and have lost 3 straight, including blowing leads in all 3 of those games. Dylan Brooks is still out. Mark Williams is out. Grayson Allen and Royce O'Neal are both questionable. And then the Suns are on the tail end of a 6-game road trip. Them boys is ready to go home. This is a buzzsaw team versus a team that has been on the road and ready to get home.
Yeah, I got a pick for that game too.
What you got?
Give me Wemby 3+ threes at +130. Suns is the worst 3-point defense in the NBA.
I like that. And then so we're also just gonna put 1 unit on that game. All right, back to the tournament. We have Houston versus Idaho. I'm taking the -23.5 at -120. This is also going to be a 1 unit play. Houston is a 28-6. They're a 2 seed with revenge on their mind after last year's title game. Like I said, they're in the same bracket. They're in the same region as the team that beat them in the championship last year. So I think they're going to be hell bent on getting to the Elite 8 to meet Florida and get that blood back. Get it back in blood. I fucked that all up. Idaho is 13-20 overall. They finished the 7th in the Big Sky at 5-13. Houston ranks 14th in offense and 5th in defense per KenPom. Idaho is 176 in offense versus 136 in defense. Sweet 16 and Elite 8 will be in Houston, so they have a path to make it home. They just got to win their first 2 games, and then they got home cooking for the next 2. Idaho's a feel-good story for making the tournament, but they're just going to be outclassed in this one. I really should have just took the first half because shit can happen in the second half. But, like we mentioned earlier,
the second half is more safe.
In college basketball, that tends to be, I've noticed, a lot of times, especially for, like, overs and stuff, because I'll be watching, and at halftime, they won't even be halfway to the total, and I'll be like, God damn it, I should have took the fucking under.
Yeah,
And then
and they explode in the second half.
the second half just explodes.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stick with Houston -23.5. It's a lot of points, but when they play non-good teams, they tend to beat the shit out of them. So I'm gonna go ahead and rock with that.
Yeah, but I like Houston to drill them. I think they'll be up by 20+ at halftime. My sleeper pick for the tournament, I wanted to go with a favorite, but I'm gonna give you a dog. Give me VCU plus the 2.5 against North Carolina. Play it up to 3.5, wherever you want. If it goes down to 1.5, I would leave it alone. I like VCU to advance them. I like the money line play as well, but for my money, I would just take the points.
No, I'm with you. I actually told some people in my home group chat here in the Carolinas that they better not watch that game because VCU gonna make them feel some type of way.
Yeah.
I don't think Carolina's a bad team. I just think without Caleb Wilson, they struggle for playmaking. They don't really have anybody that can go out there and get their own bucket. And that's the biggest thing in postseason basketball, whether college or NBA. The more players you have that can go and get their own bucket, the better you are at advancing. And without Caleb Wilson, I have a hard time seeing it, man.
Yeah, and that's why I picked VCU, because they got a couple guys that can go and get it off the bounce. Another pick I like is St. Louis plus the points against Georgia. Georgia's way more athletic, but St. Louis is the best 3-point shooting team in the nation. They got a top 10 3-point defense. Georgia likes to shoot the 3, but they don't shoot it very well. And they got Big Robbie. He's a player, like you said, that can go and get it. He can go and get it. Georgia has a couple players that can go and get it on a medium level.
They're
but
too iffy though.
Yeah, exactly. I think St. Louis has the best player on the floor, and when you in March Madness, that matters.
I agree. All right, and then my best bet for the show, put 2.5 units on this. Iowa State -23.5 versus Tennessee State at -110.
Okay.
Iowa State, 2 seed, 6 in net, 6 in KenPom, 6 in BPI. Started the season 16-0, which was their best start in program history. PJ Otzelberger has the most NCAA tournament wins in Iowa State history. He's taken this team to the Sweet 16 twice in his first 3 years coaching. I'm expecting it to be 3 out of 4. Joshua Jefferson's a monster. He's averaging 17 points, pretty much 8 rebounds a game, and 5 assists a game. He has the highest assist rate among all big men in college basketball. That's very important. In basketball, period. If your big man can pass, that just unlocks your offense to another level. I mean, we see it in Denver with Jokic nightly.
I agree. You see it all over the country for real.
Yeah. Tamin Lipsey, he controls tempo. The Cyclones like to dictate the pace. Tennessee State, 186 at Ken Palm. This is their first tournament appearance since 1994. They want to run, and that plays right into Iowa State's hands. I think anytime a team wants to run fast against Iowa State, that is something that they're licking their chops at.
Yeah. My single best bet for the show will be the under in the Iowa Clemson game. I just think with Iowa has a top 30 defense. They're ranked actually 30th nationally. They're 357th in adjusted tempo out of 365 teams. They're 359th in average possession length out of 365 teams at almost 20 seconds. Their defensive possession length is bottom 50, and they like to walk the ball up the court almost every possession. And with Clemson, they're ranked 333rd in adjusted tempo. Their defense is top 21 nationally, and their defensive average possession length is 360th out of 365, which means it's going to take you at least 20 seconds to get a shot off against Clemson. And they also like to walk the ball up, and that's where those unders come in at. Especially when they get the rebound, as long as they're not flying up and down the court, we're good. I put 10 units on that.
I was saying that especially matters in college where the shot clock's 30 seconds rather than 24. So exactly. teams have plenty of time to take their time, shoot clock, like really get their offense set up. It's not something where they feel like they got to be forced or pressured to get up the floor.
I agree.
Man, you got anything else for the people before we get out of here?
No. That's it for me.
All right. Well, if you want, man, you're more than welcome to come back next week. I don't mind having you on every week until the tournament's over.
Oh, yeah. You get back on here in round 2. We can go from there.
Sounds good. Well, all right, man. We got 4 picks for me, 2 big NCAA spreads, 1 NBA blowout, and a live dog in the first 4. First round. Iowa State is the best bet on the board. They're title contenders playing a team that hasn't been to the tournament since 1994. Houston is a 98% chance to win per BPI. The Spurs have won 19 of 21, and the Suns are limping and missing half of their roster. Texas just beat NC State on a buzzer beater. We're getting plus money on a team with momentum. We got 3 straight winning episodes. We're going to try to make it 4. As always, get rich or grow broke, shine, baby. Man,